Hi boys, I hope all is well and that you're all safe and you had a lovely weekend. So I'm back to maths this week, and this week we'll be looking at length. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, my class looked at length and we looked at centimetres and metres. So when we're looking at centimetres, we saw that it was approximately the width of our fingertip. So here I have my ruler, okay, and on this are our measurements, and we saw that 0 to 1 here was 1 centimetre, okay? Then we found out that 100 centimetres was equal to 1 metre. So our fingertip, which is approximately the size here, was our centimetre. And then our metre was approximately, if I put my arms out, I know we remember the metre stick from school. So when I put out my arms like this, that's about a metre. So I know this is kind of my centimetre and this is my metre. Just so in my brain, I can kind of put that into my head so that when I'm reading it in a question, I can put it into context and understand what I'm talking about, okay? So we knew that 100 centimetres, so 100 of these was equal to 1 metre of our metre stick in school, okay? So this week, we're moving on to metres and kilometres, okay? Now, M stands for metre and km stands for kilometre. So when we're using our maths language, we will say metre and we will say kilometre, but we'll write it M for metre and km for kilometre, okay? We just shorten it because we wouldn't write out those big long sentences each time. So this is our maths language again that we're focusing on, okay? M for metre and km for kilometre. Okay, so the next fact now that we want to drill into our heads is that 1,000 metres. So you remember your metre stick in school. So if you want to put out your arms with me here so you kind of get a sense of it, okay? So 1,000 of those is equal to 1 kilometre, okay? Now why do you think we've gone from centimetres to metres and now we're going up to kilometres? Why do you think we keep changing the language? Why don't we just keep talking about metres? Why do you think? Very good, okay? When we're talking about distances, we're going to use kilometres because if we start talking about metres, we're going to be at about thousands and thousands and thousands of metres when we can just bring it down to a lesser number, 1 kilometre. It just helps us understand it more, okay? So just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, this is the exercise that we're going to focus on today in our Busy at Maths, okay? So, can you see that here? Okay. So, I want you to take a good look at this here. I'm trying to get it in there perfectly. Okay. So, you can see the children in 4th class had to run a kilometre race during sports day. 1 full lap was equal to 1 kilometre. Now, can you remember for our sports day last year, at the very end of the day, whoever wants to can run around the track. I'm not sure how many times or how many kilometres it is, but if you think of that and you're when you're thinking of the kilometre, think of 1 lap around that field on our sports day, okay? So that will you'll get a sense then of what we're talking about. So 1 kilometre would be that big run that you did, just one of it, 1 lap around that big field would be the kilometre, okay? And that would equal to, if you had your metre stick, you'd have to put it down 1,000 times, okay, to measure the kilometre. So now you know why we would use the term kilometre and not 1,000 metres, okay? So you can see up here, when distances are too far to measure with a metre stick, we use the kilometre. So it gives an example here. Dublin to Cork, if you were travelling from Dublin to Cork, it would take us 252 kilometres, okay? 252 kilometres, which is how many metres? Very good, 252,000 metres. So you'd have to a lot of measuring with your metre stick then, wouldn't you? So Dublin to Cork is 252 kilometres. Okay, so the exercise here, you can see only some of the figures are filled in. Okay? Only some of the figures are filled in. So, we have our start and our finish point here. Okay? Now, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it here, but I'll have this attached in the Busy at Maths in the Google Classroom. I'll have this attachment in the Busy at Maths, okay? You can see it 100 metres, the 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 and 1,000 metre, okay? there's little red marks, okay? So there's little red, the camera, okay. So here, we'll start the start, okay, start or finish the start. Here, 100 meters, there's a little red mark just here. A pencil. There's a red mark just here, okay? Then there's another, there'll be a red mark here, 200, another one in the middle, 300, 360. They're all little red marks, okay? So this is 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters. Now in the middle of those hundreds, there is a red line, okay? So what number do you think that line represents? If it's right in the middle, of 100 and 200, and if it's right in the middle of 200 and 300, what's in the middle of those numbers? Bang in the middle. What do you think? Very good. It's our 50s, isn't it? So we'd have 100, 150 right in the middle, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 800, 850, 900, 950, and then we're back again to our finish, and that will be 1,000 meters. Okay, so you'll see that when you open the attachment in the Google Classroom, those little lines are in red. Okay, in between those lines, okay, you'll have smaller white lines. Okay, so you see, you might be able to see the red lines there, and then with smaller lines we have the white lines. Okay, so if this is my start here, this is my start here, this is my 100, in the middle I know is 50. What do the other lines represent, do you think? What are we going to go up in? There's a clue if you look at the decimals or you look at the fractions. Very good, it goes up in tens. Okay, so each line, so you can see 100 meters there, the little white line will be 110 meters. The next one, so let me point to it. So we have 100 meters here. We have, it's hard to do it when I can't see, 100 meters here, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220. Again, we go up in our tens, okay? Now, what's really important to do when we're talking about length? Okay, what's really, really important? What must we not forget to put in? Very good, our units of measurement, okay? So we have to put in our meters or our kilometre. It has to put M for metre or km for kilometres, okay? So I want you to have a look at this and kind of study it, okay? And the first question that you're going to do is this question here, number 1, okay? So it says, what distances do each of these letters represent on the running track, okay? What distances do each of these letters represent on the running track? So you have to study the running track. In your head, think about the one we did on sports day. So that would be what it looks like in real life, okay? So you can see here, the first one is A, and they've done you a favour. They've put in the units of measurement for you, so you can't get that part wrong. The units of measurements are there. So we can see A is here, okay? So we're going to count, and we're going to see. So A is here. This is our start. So we're here at 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. It's going to be 50 meters, okay? Just to check that is 50, I'll just keep counting just to make sure. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Yeah, that tells me it's 100, so I know that I'm correct. So I've gone 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So my answer to A is going to be 50 meters. Okay? Now, it's also going to ask you to put some of the figures in fractions, looking at fractions and also looking at decimal points. Now, we covered those earlier in the year as well. So because it's towards the end of the year, we're just bringing all that knowledge together when we're looking at our length, okay? So look at number B, it's asking us in letter B. What is letter B? But look, it's looking for a fraction. It's looking for hundredths, something over 100 kilometers. So B is here. So here is 100, which here you can see is equal to 0.1 kilometers and equal to 1/10 kilometers. So if I'm going to be counting up, I'm looking for B here. So I say 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150 meters. I know that's 150 meters. What would that be over 100? 150 meters. So I know that B is equal to 150 meters. But it's asking me to put it over 100. So it's then something over 100 kilometers. Okay? So what do you think the answer is? Very good. It's 15 over 100. So it's 15 over 100 kilometers. Okay? Now, I wanted to complete all of this. Okay, just take your time looking at this. Once you have all this completed, then your answers here are going to be easy. Okay, so take your time, count up. You'll be counting up in tens for the little white lines, and you'll be counting up in 50s for the red lines. Okay, the red little lines that are sticking up. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to do number 2. And here it says, write the following measurements in meters. So I want you to adjust this column here. So A, D, G, J, M, and Q. Again, the units of measurements are here in meters. So you should be able to, you can't get that wrong in terms of including your unit of measurement. So already we know the answer to 1A. What's 1 kilometre equal to? Remembering now that 1 kilometre is this whole lap of the pitch. The whole lap of like the field that we had in our sports day. So how many meters is equal to 1 kilometre? It's 1,000, isn't it? So it's 1,000 meters. So 1 kilometre is equal to 1,000 meters. So 1/10 of a kilometre, what would that be equal to? You can go up here and check. Okay? Or we can just use our knowledge that we have from our fractions. So just this line here, and then you're going to complete this one here as well. So it's 3, A, B, and C, and you just have to fill in the answers. You're going to have to do them in meters, fractions, and decimals. Okay? So take a look back at the start of this video if you want just to go through this part. Okay? You can just rewind to the part that I explained this. This will be attached in separate attachments in your Busy at Maths. I don't know if some of you have your books. And if you have any questions, as always, just pop it in a comment below. Okay, good luck, boys. Thank you.